So the Tour de France is now in the Pyrenees, but it was a sad day for Team Dimension Data because over the rest day we found out that Serge Paarl had broken his elbow in that rather silly crash coming into the finish of Carcassonne a couple of days ago. But the team is in good spirits, they race on and they'll still look for opportunities like today where they had 3 riders in the initial breakaway but sadly not in the results at the end. The chateaux abound, as particularly in the south of France. We've left the Alps now, we're heading towards the Pyrenees, and the riders here have no rest day. The weather is set to change as well. From the heat, we're now expecting heavy storms. There's always a challenge in the Tour de France, but you know, there is reward for everybody in the Tour de France, and of course, it's the prize list. Do you know the Tour de France has a first prize after its 21 days of racing of only €500,000? And if you finish as low as 10th in the Tour de France, which is a magnificent achievement, it's a little more than €3,500. So the riders don't race here for the money, they race here for the romanticisms of the Tour de France and for the glory and for the fact they can say, I won the Tour de France or I finished 5th in the Tour de France. So today we're not going to talk about the wonderful range of Nederburg wines, although every year I should remind you they do have an auction of their finest wines. We're talking about the great things that come from this sponsorship, because attached to Team Dimension Data is Qhubeka, and Qhubeka makes sure that bicycles are available to people less fortunate than ourselves. The boys on this team and Nederburg who are attached to this team are very, very dedicated people. They are the real prize winners of this year's Tour de France. So everybody wins. And remember, this is the first South African team ever to ride in the Tour de France.